All right, welcome to the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. I'm your man, Big Jack. That's my man, Walt Talks. This is where we prove we are stronger together, that if each one would reach one, we can all grow and glow. And hey, I'm going to just throw this out here real quick. There is a little tweak we're going to be throwing out there with the mission statement or the actual statement for the Iron Sharpening Iron universe. You see it scrolling at the bottom of your screen right now if you're watching. So it's, let's see what it say. Real people, right? Real conversations. Come on. Real stories, one community. There we are. Right? Real people, real conversations, real stories, one community. And that's what we're all about right there. Real people, real conversations, real stories, and one community. And that's, if each one would just reach one, we can all grow and glow. And that's what we are. How you doing, Walt? What's going on?
Man, no complaints, Jack. How's everything?
Everything is everything, man. It's a good week.
Yeah.
Just found out how much car repairs cost. So,
oh, man.
My wife really, she had to take her, she just did routine services. So she was just going to do routine service. But once they got in there and started finding this, finding that, and then the numbers just started ticking through and it started going through the roof. But anyway, I mean, you got to get it done. It's just the fact that, you think, you pay off a car, you pay your insurance, and you don't have to worry about all that other stuff, but it adds up quick. It adds up quick.
So let me get this straight. How old is the car?
The car is now at least 12 years old.
Get off my phone, man. Cut it out. Cut it out, man.
What?
Cut it out, man. Cut it out. Says the guy who has a 12-year-old truck and a 10-year-old. Yeah. But hey, man, I preventive maintenance, keep the service up. Yeah. I've never been a car guy, man. Just
and that's me. I'm not. So.
But hey, man, when I pull up at the golf course in my golf, what is that? My golf, my fancy, golf vehicle, AKA my minivan. Guys, they clown me all the time, man. Or if I pull up in the truck, no difference. I'm just like, it's a car, man. I've had so many cars wrecked at a young age. People hitting my cars, been almost upside down or taking a loss, and uninsured motorists and the whole 9 yards, man. I'm like, cars, man. I mean, I like a nice vehicle, don't get me wrong, but not my top priority.
Yeah. But and like I say, we're not arguing. Like I say, I don't work on cars, so I'm not a shade tree mechanic. We're not. The thing is, when you got to get things done, it just adds up quick. But like I say, man. No. But then you got the bills. You got a new car is $50,000. I'll pay $3,000 instead of paying $50,000. I mean, that's it. Look at the car. You got it. Come on now. Come on. I know we're not getting a car. I get a new car when my wheels fall off. So. You pausing? What's going on? I'm not sure.
I paused. Yeah, I've lost you, man.
Okay. Did you hear me?
I don't know what happened.
Get there. I got you. Okay.
But
all right. So look, we got a wonderful.
They make cars that cost $50,000.
I think that's yeah. They're expensive. Yeah. So, man. And right now, like I say, when my wheels fall off, I'll get another one. So that's
I don't drive them till the wheels fall off. But if it's not dependable, if I can't get in it,
it gets us where we need to go. Like I say, that's why.
But I mean, I need to be able to hit the road. I mean, because you stay ready. You don't have to get ready. I don't have to. Wait a minute.
I can tell you this: when I went to the doctors. My bill was way more than what they told me at the mechanic shop for my car.
Oh, well, there it is right there. How's that for perspective?
And that's with insurance and everything. So
who's the old clunker?
That's right.
My man.
So I'm a little bit older than 12 years.
So you are the hoopty. I am my man. 100%. Oh, man.
We got a wonderful guest we're going to put on the show today. Thank you all for tuning in to the Iron Sharpening Iron Show, part of the Iron Sharpening Iron universe. And we're going to get her up here, and we're going to always, like I say, real people, real stories, real conversations, or real conversation, real stories, one community. So are you ready?
Let's get it. I'm excited.
Let's get it. Let's see. I say without a doubt, you know you're on. Here we go. right, we have Michelle. How you doing?
I am great. How are you?
Doing great. Let me move everybody around. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
And I still only got the right screen I want. So give me 1 second. We'll get set. Nope, that's not what I want.
That's not it.
There we go. There we go. Just move people around. There we go. All right.
First time. Hello, Michelle.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well. So welcome to the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. We are now live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook, live on Twitch. And once this is over, we'll make cuts and put it on TikTok and Instagram and all those other things. But this is the way, just like it says at the bottom, we're real people with real conversation, real stories, one community. And we welcome you to the show. So for us, Michelle, if you don't mind, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, I'd be happy to. Well, my name is Michelle Steiner. I live in Pennsylvania with my husband, Ron, and our 2 cats, Jack and Sparrow. Yeah. I am a writer, speaker, photographer, and parent educator. I work in a school with students who have disabilities and some who don't. And I also have a blog called Michelle's Mission, where I write about my life with a learning disability. And I feature my photography as well.
Okay, all right. All right, so he said Pennsylvania with a husband and 2 cats, Jack and Sparrow. So I'm sure that's from Pirates of the Caribbean. Maybe that would be got that. Okay, Michelle missed that one. All right, and you say you work in the school, so you are a school teacher.
I am a teacher's aide.
A teacher's aide. Okay, all right, and you say you're a photographer as well, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So, what part, if you don't mind, what part of Pennsylvania? So I know if we're in the top north or the bottom south, or what part of Pennsylvania?
I live in Western Pennsylvania. We're about an hour from Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, okay. So now I got a picture now. I'm in there because people say Pennsylvania, you think of Philly, you think of York,
right.
So many different parts. So yeah. So I just want to make sure we're in the outside of the Washington D.C. area, so we're right there. So we're not that far away.
I'm in D.C. proper.
East Coast. Definitely know the East Coast and the East Coast weather and all that other stuff we're going through. So right now, for those who don't know, we're going through our rainy season. We're definitely in the flood season this week. Unfortunate. So, but we want to definitely welcome you again to the show and to the show. So, working with children with disabilities. So, how's that going, and what do you do as far as working with children with disabilities? And is it learning disabilities or physical? What part? And help me with that part.
Right. I work with middle school age students. We're on summer break now, but I will be working in with 6th through 7th through 8th grade students. I'm not sure the exact grade level, but that's the students that we serve, middle school aged. And the students that I work with, they can have all kinds of disabilities. Some have learning disabilities. Other ones might have autism. We have students that we serve that have physical disabilities. We have students that have intellectual disabilities. Some students might have other health impairments, blind, visual issues, deaf, and sometimes some students have what is called an individualized education plan with goals and what to do, a paper that tells all that, and other ones might not have quite a plan with that, but we still need to know what to do if they have another health impairment and they get a Section 504. So that can be like, maybe they're diabetic, maybe they have seizures, maybe they have migraines. And we know what to do in those situations too. So we have a wide variety of students that we work with. The students that I have worked with in the past couple of years have been mainly students that have had either a 504 or they've also had something like a learning disability, autism, and they've been accessing the general ed curriculum. And I will go into the classroom and I get to help out students that are struggling with reinforcing lessons and encouraging them. I do a lot of advocating for my students, where I show them how to advocate for themselves. I think that's so important. And all the kids know one thing though: do not ask me for help with math, because I cannot help you with that.
Yeah. Math is a tough subject. So what got you, or how did you get into this? So what motivated you to want to be an aide for children with disability?
Well, I always knew whenever I was in high school that I wanted to go to college, and I knew that I wanted to work with children in a school setting. But I also knew that becoming a teacher might just not be in the cards for me with my learning disability. I knew that that would be a challenge. A lot of times, even passing certification tests to go into the College of Education, I knew I couldn't do that. I'm not a great test taker. And I knew some of the content area, like math, was not going to be a possibility for me. So I thought, well, I like working with children. So what's another way that I could do that? And I've worked in childcare centers. I've also have done a lot with being a therapeutic support staff worker. But I kind of always circle back to working in a school as a parent educator. And whenever I was looking for a job, I thought, okay, I'm just going to get on the sub list probably because I worked a lot of temp jobs before. And to my surprise, they hired me on as a permanent para.
All right. Oh, that's good that they did that, and congratulations on that, and thank you for helping. So, do you find it in middle school that is challenging? Because I know in elementary it's a lot of hands-on, but then as you get in middle, they starting to try to let the kids be more independent so they learn. So, is that a challenging time for them?
I think there's challenges at every level with that. I've worked from kindergarten age students all the way up to senior high, and every school does have their challenges. But I think once we do start going to middle school, we really want to have them start to become more independent, especially at 7th grade. That's when they start seeing that framework for having a disability, what the rest of their school career is going to look like, with having a learning strategies class, with having a resource room, with having just more independence and more into transition services for what to do when you get out of high school, because a lot of our students, their disabilities are going to be with them. So we really do need to have that plan. So I think that it is a challenge. I mean, they're their bodies are changing and their brains are changing, and then they have a disability on top of everything. So I think that the middle school years really are a challenging time, especially for all students, but I think especially for students with disabilities.
Now, I know so many different areas we can go as far as with disabilities and all, but I think we're talking more, especially when we're saying 504s and definitely the IEPs and all. You're looking at more of the ADHD or something like that, where all kids are not. They might have ADHD, but they're not hyperactive. They're not hyper. They just they just need extra time, or they need things. And this is that hidden disability. A lot of people just don't know that it's there, but they do have some form of protection in a sense, or help that the school say, okay, I'll give you more test time. I'll give you more time to do this assignment. I'll give you an extra person to work with you. But now, I guess the other part, are you an advocate for medication? Meaning, I know a lot of what I've heard where people say, we'll just medicate them. We'll put them on a lot of different medicines to help them with this and that. So what do you think about that?
I think that's really between a parent and the child's pediatrician to make that the best determination with that. But I also think too that regardless if you're going to medicate or you're not going to medicate, it's also putting in those environmental factors with that, which having a steady routine, which is looking at your child's diet, it's looking at consequences for actions, and really just looking into that, because I'll have a lot of students, and I'm not against medication, but some students will tell me, well, I have ADHD, that's why I did this. And I'll say, yes, you have ADHD. Yes, that makes it more difficult, but the meds only take you to a certain point. You still have to put a lot of that work into that as well.
No, good points. Good points. Good points. I mean, I've talked to kids that and I've been told for years I should have been diagnosed. I just didn't go through the process. So I don't know. Right. But at the same time, you don't want to laugh and joke about it but it is real. And I think a lot of people don't realize that it's real. For years, it's just like you didn't have discipline, or your parents didn't. It's not all about that. It is a mental, especially when we're talking about the learning disabilities, and that it's a mental illness that need to be identified and taken care of. So I appreciate, again, you doing this. How long have you been doing it? How many years have you been in the school system doing this?
I have been doing in my current position for about 15 years now.
Okay, so that's why I wanted to ask that first, because I was going to ask you, how difficult was it when COVID hit? Because that's when a lot of people saw, especially I got a young school age kid, so COVID was a time where it was like there, you even though you still had programs, now you're all at home. You're online, you're watching, you're looking at a computer, you're not sitting in a classroom. There's teachers not coming in, or they are, but they're coming in virtually. So did you find it difficult for that time?
That was a difficult time, challenging for all of us as a school. I know a lot of our students just not having that coming in to be, or being able to come in, that was really difficult, because some of them, they didn't do their work, or sometimes they didn't have that support to be doing that. And I can remember reading tests aloud to students online, and sometimes I would be having to supervise just to kind of check in to make sure they were doing their work. And it really had an impact, and on a lot of our students too, with learning and trying to fill in gaps with that as well. So I mean, it was a challenge, I think, for everyone.
Okay. No, I mean, you'll be the first, I would say, person who even as a school teacher or even an assistant that I could talk to say, hey, during that time, how was it for you? Because I know when you can be with a person and sit next to them and talk to them and see them, it's totally different than you're virtually talking to them and you're trying to,
right.
Like you say, that support. I mean, it changed the world 100% when it went through. We all had to adjust to it. But when you have a fight and you're already fighting one thing, as far as your disabilities and things like that, and then have this big change come, that was a major, to the point. And I want to throw this out there, that in the county that I live in the state of Maryland, when it was time for everybody to go back and they started shutting down those programs, a lot of kids was really, I mean, I've never seen school board meetings that active as a kid saying how much they needed the virtual time over the in-person time. And I don't know if did you see that same thing in your school districts?
I know with our school, we definitely wanted to definitely have people back in. We knew that we wanted to do that. It just was that matter of making sure that that was safe, working with a lot of the health officials to make sure that that was what they should be doing. So I think that, and everybody definitely came in, and everyone had a different experience. I mean, we all had and different views on that. I mean, everybody had, I mean, we were all in the same storm, but everyone was in a different boat. I mean, for some families, they wanted to have school back in, and some students, they were back in. A lot of our students that did have higher support needs and were in self-contained rooms, they came back in first, because some of the instruction you couldn't do online. But some of our students too that maybe had lower support needs but still needed that, they could be temporarily, while it wasn't ideal, we could still provide service for them with doing it virtual. But I think that coming back together was something that our staff really did like. And we were able to come back in and have that interaction, because I think a lot of times our students need that as well. But yeah, everyone had their opinions on that too. And yep.
Now the thing that I heard, and Walt, I know I'm
I'm taking notes.
Yeah,
I'm
but
listening.
The thing that I heard was from the kids, and that's why I say it was so amazed, because they say for the first time in their school life, they felt safe. Because they had disabilities, and then they was being bullied or being set apart because of the disabilities. And when it was in virtual, they didn't have that. They wasn't being cyber bullied in that way. So now to take them and put them back in is like, oh, here we go again. And they didn't want to go. So I was tossed, because you need that. You need to be interactive. You need to be around kids, around your peers. You need to be in a school setting, but then at the same time, you need to be safe. And it was wow. And so that's why I was more, I remember that, and I remember like, okay, we're gonna shut down this program, and to hear those kids actually shout out how, if you do this, I don't know what I'm going to do because,
right.
And that was scary. It was real scary hearing the kids saying, I don't know what I'm going to do to myself if you make me go back to school. And it wasn't because they didn't like school. They just didn't like the atmosphere of being set apart, set out, set aside. Because I remember when I was even in school, if you had a disability, you went to a special wing of the school. You was pushed all the way. I mean, it's like everybody knew you was on a shorter bus. It was just, all of it was wrong as far as trying to say, let's make everybody feel like they're all part, but we're going to treat you totally different than everybody else. And it just, so, help me understand. So,
Exactly. And I can remember even with going to school too, I went to a very small school district where everybody knew each other and they were close knit if you were one of them. And from the time I was really small, I wasn't one of them. So everybody could see, because it was so small, that I went to learning support for classes. And then when I was in the regular ed classes, everybody could also know that I struggled. And that bullying I could really relate to, because that was hard ever since I had that, since I was in kindergarten, a very young child, up until I graduated. And school got easier for me academically as I went through the grades, but socially that got a lot harder. I can remember a lot of our peer groups are really defined, and I didn't fit into with any of them, and a lot of the bullying really intensified. But what really helped me was that I found a group right outside of our school district that was an arts group. And it was during this time that I found other peers that I didn't go to school with that had the same interests. So I had a lot of acceptance. And after I was done with that group, I found a writing group for adults. And they got to see me grow as a writer and a person. And they told me I should write about having a learning disability. And I said, oh, no, that's too personal. Wrote some bad poetry and other things I would not want to read today. But what's so amazing about that group is 30 some years later, we still meet once a month to talk about our writing. We're in each other's lives. And that friendship has just lasted for all those years. And that just really was, as a teenager, I had that wisdom to know that this just wasn't the right fit for me with the people I went to school with. Couldn't do anything about that. But after school is when I found people in my life.
All right. Wow. Okay. Now that's awesome. So definitely awesome. So tell me about your mission. I see the founder of Michelle's Mission. So what's going on with Michelle's Mission? Help me understand this.
The mission of Michelle's Mission, my mission statement is to encourage, empower, and educate people with and without disabilities. There's a lot of myths out there about learning disabilities and especially hidden disabilities. So I like to educate people on my experience. I can't speak on everybody's experience, but I talk a lot about mine. And I also want to be able to encourage other people that have disabilities to be able to go out and chase their dreams, or others that don't have disabilities to do that and to be able to find a way. And I want people to feel empowered. I want people to feel in their lives that they are empowered and they can do things, and to find those dreams that they love as well. And I also feature my writing, where I do talk about my life with a learning disability. I also have a children's book that just got published. So I'm excited about that. And I also feature my photography. I'm not able to drive. So when I go on my walks, I notice details other people miss. So I take a lot of pictures of flowers and other things I see in nature.
Okay. All right, so I'm not gonna put you on the spot, so I can't say, "Hey, what's your disability?" I won't put you there. HIPAA is definitely real.
I was about to say HIPAA, and that's not.
HIPAA's
I don't want to go
yours.
to HR this evening, man. I don't feel like going to HR.
If you want to share, please share with us. Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. No problem. I am fine with that. I have dyscalculia, which is a math learning disability. I have limited hand dexterity in both of my hands, and I have visual perception issues that affect my brain, but not my eyes.
Wow. Okay. All right. So now that's when you're saying you couldn't drive. So that would stop you from being able to legally drive. I'm sure if you wanted to get behind the wheel, if you wanted to get behind the wheel, you could do what you want. But legally, they say you can't have a license. Okay. And that's why you say don't come to you for math tutoring and all like that. So,
and she said math at least 3 times. She referred to math at least 3 times. Absolutely.
Don't come to me for that. So here's the thing, though. So when you're talking to students in the class, do you let them know that you have a disability? Do you share with them to open up and let them know that they can make it? Because
it depends on the situation. There's some students I might share that with, and there's some students I might just say I'm bad at math. And I just kind of gauge the student whether that this is going to be something that can be beneficial for them, or is it somebody that's just going to be like, what, you have a math or take that on. So I just kind of gauge that. And sometimes that can be a really powerful thing for a student that really is struggling, like in math or just in another area of learning, to know that they're not alone. I can remember I had a student that was really struggling in the classroom with reading and comprehending things. And he really had a difficult time, and I was helping him with something, and it was really neat because the student asked me, hey, I use this voice activated software. Do you use that? And that was one of those really nice conversations and that we were able to have. Other times I might just say, oh yeah, I'm not good at math. And we just leave it at that. And it's just really just seeing what the situation is too. I also know that I've had students that I can go to them and I do tell them, your learning disability doesn't make you dumb and you can do it. And sometimes we do talk about that in class, and we talk about just getting the supports and not letting it stop them from their dreams. And I just think that with having my disability, I used to always wonder, especially with the math, what am I going to do in the classroom? And I found, though, that being honest and open in those situations can really be helpful, because I think it's made me a better paraeducator that knows what a lot of my students are feeling and are facing. Sometimes it's like hearing that recording of myself at that younger age, and being that open and honest, it helps me to be empathetic. And it also helps me to really show my students that they're not alone in all of this. Sometimes when you have a learning disability, you think you're the only person that struggles, and that couldn't be further from the truth.
Well, yeah, and that not so much that you're the only one that struggle, but some people don't believe that you're real. It's not real. So I was going to ask you, how long were you in school before they actually diagnosed you and said, okay, you have this disability or whatever? Because a lot of kids get misdiagnosed, or they get that, you're just being lazy, you're not doing your work, and how you having such a hard time with this and that, and not realizing that there's a possibility that there's a disability going on. So what grade level were you when they finally said, this is what you have?
By the end of kindergarten, I was diagnosed with a learning disability, and I had to repeat the grade. I struggled in preschool, but I was my parents' first child, so they really didn't know what typical development was. But I was so fortunate that I had a teacher that could just see that I was having difficulty counting. I was having trouble writing my name. I was having trouble tying my shoes. And she recommended that I get tested. And typically what they do in a school setting is it's a 3-tiered approach. First thing usually happens is the teacher notices they have a child struggling in the classroom. So the teacher will try doing some different strategies. Maybe it's going up and having with the child's doing some work, or putting the child by the desk so they can go and they can see, okay, can I be of help? Providing those extra supports. Maybe if there's another para in the room, if they're fortunate to have one, then maybe it's that para goes and takes the child aside and maybe reads a test aloud, or goes over some information with them that the teacher has already done. After that happens, usually the second step, if that doesn't work, none of those strategies are helping, then we'll get somebody that'll come in from one of the admin, or from the a psychologist, or somebody that might be working that knows about disabilities, and they'll start to just maybe observe, or it can sometimes even be another teacher. Somebody will come in and they'll do an observation, and just to see what's going on in the classroom with the child. And then they'll come together and with the teacher and the team, and they'll think, okay, there could be something going on here. Let's try to get them in to get diagnosed, and the school psychologist can come in if it's a learning disability, do some testing if the parents permit, and we can start giving them an IEP if they need it. Now, some things that somebody might be diagnosed with, such as autism or ADHD, that has to be, the teacher can definitely do services like in the classroom, can recommend it, but an official diagnosis has to come from a doctor. So it can come from the child's pediatrician. It can come from, if a parent does, a psychiatrist or outside of the school district. They have to be diagnosed by a physician.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, one yes. Mm-hmm. So kindergarten, I guess that would be a good time. So I know a lot of times and I don't say you had a good teacher, like I say, a teacher who said, "Hey, this person needs to be tested." It's been too many kids get passed over where the teacher doesn't. They don't make that. They just pass them on, and it's not my problem. It's your problem. And then 6 years, 8 years, 10 years in, then somebody say, "Oh, they got a problem." But it's like, how many years have we skipped this person or misdiagnosed or didn't diagnose? So that's the sad part about the whole program, because a lot of kids, I mean, and it don't have to be something so like severe, but it's just like, say, certain things, dyslexia and a lot of other things where I'm just seeing it different. I'm not seeing what you're seeing. And like you said, it doesn't make me dumb. I'm not dumb. And it's frustrating. It has to be frustrating because of the fact that you're working hard, you're sitting in a school, you're hearing what they're saying, but you're seeing something totally different. And it's like, what's going on and why, and it's unfortunate. So again, I don't know how many times I'm gonna have to say I thank you, because I want to say thank you, because I know it takes a lot, especially one of the biggest issues we have in this country is overcrowding of schools or classrooms. When you're looking at 25, 30 kids in a classroom and 1 or 2 needing that special, individual assistance, sometimes they get missed because I got 25 over here that need me to talk to them as a teacher, and I can't focus on you with your one, so so thank you again for stepping in and doing what you do. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah. So do you have the titles of your book so we can put it out there for those who want to read up on your book? And definitely let us know is it a website to get to your mission, or how do we get to your mission?
Sure. The title of my book is The Ladybug Who Couldn't Count Her Spots, and I can give you the link with that. It'll have its official release with the publisher tomorrow. But I do have it, but it is up online as well, and it's on my website. And you can also find me at my blog, www.michellesmission.com.
Okay, all right. Now, what's the title of the book again? I want to make sure.
The Ladybug Who Couldn't Count Her Spots.
Okay, The Ladybug Who Couldn't Count Her Spots. Okay, all right. All right, so I'm gonna definitely try to make sure we look it up and put it in the if we put it in the chat, and we'll definitely make sure we put it in the description of this show, so anyone who wants to. And you said it should be released tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And you said it's www.michellesmission.com is your blog?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. So we'll get that out there and make sure everybody knows how to reach you. Now, with the mission, so say I'm what's the age limits, I guess, to be part of the community, Michelle's Mission? Is there an age limit for anyone, or how does that work?
No, that my blog and Michelle's Mission is for everyone. It's for people that adults. It's also for kids or for teenagers. I mean, most of it is written maybe for an older teenager to be able to understand. But I do not post anything that is controversial on there. So I mean, if a child would want to find that, that's fine. And my children's book is definitely for young children as well. So I like to think that there's definitely something that everybody can be able to gain from that.
Okay, now the children's book, is that same name, or how's that? What's the children's book?
The children's book is The Ladybug Who Couldn't Count Her Spots. So yep, that's the children's book.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now is there a older person book, not the children's book? What's that one?
I have stories that are published in anthologies, but I do not have my own book yet. That is something that I would like to eventually be able to get and to do. And yep, definitely work on that with some of my photography and just talking about my life with having a disability.
Okay. All right. Now that's really cool. So now you go out, you say you walk in the trails and all, you're taking pictures and you're catching certain things. How did that come about? What made you want to get into photography?
I can remember when I was really young, I got into this accidentally. I can remember I was at prom and I took a picture of a tree at our venue, and everyone asked me, all my peers asked me, why'd you take a picture of a tree? And I took this to my writing group, and an older woman looked at my picture of that tree and said, ah, that shows perspective. And I put that on the shelf because I thought, I'm not an artist. I can't draw a straight line. And then my family, my husband and I were at a family wedding, and there was these angel statues because we went to a graveyard on the way home. And I took a picture of one, and my friend, who was very particular and did not believe in flattery, decided that she was she said, wow, these are really good. Where did you take them at? And I told her, and I thought, oh my goodness, she says they're good. They must be really good. So I entered them into a show and I got an honorable mention. And that just encouraged me to put more things into shows. And I started to take pictures. I noticed when I was on my walks that I can notice details other people miss. I'll notice that flower. I'll notice a butterfly. And if I was driving a car, those are so many things that I would miss and I get that chance to take that picture. So I started putting them in magazines, and I started a blog with that where I get to feature a lot of my photography too.
Okay. All right. Now, so is this taking it to the dark room and developing your own film and all of that, or is it just you take a picture and get it developed, or how does that work? With digital film,
I started out with getting them developed. Sometimes I will do that if it's a photography show, then I'll be putting them in, or a gallery show. But a lot of my pictures, it's digital. It's on my cell phone. It can be on my iPad, and I just take that, and it's just like right on the computer, or it's on, like posted with social media. So I get that chance to do that. I have never had that where I'd taken that and went through all the process with that.
Right. Okay. No, and it's like I'm sitting here thinking, I'm saying, with digital cameras, everything, no one who's using. I dated myself with Fujifilm and was a Kodak film, and taking it to a Photoshop to get it, developed and all of that. So yeah, those days are pretty much gone. No one's doing that anymore. But
right,
so, yeah. But
change bags and all that good stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's cool. It's cool to be able to capture the things that you find attractive, you find beautiful, and then share it, even in art shows. Like I know we take pictures when we go anywhere. You go nature walking, or you go to you take so many pictures. I mean, I have millions of pictures I've taken over the years, and it's always good to look back and say, hey, I was here, or I did this, or just look at that and how beautiful it was. So that is pretty cool, especially for people who don't get to travel a lot, because they don't get to go places and they don't see. So you're actually showing them like, oh, that's what that looks like. Yes, that's what it looks like. Yeah. So Walt, do you have anything for us?
Man, you guys pretty much covered everything. I do have a couple questions for you. So middle school, 3 uncomfortable years. For me, I'm old enough where middle school was 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. That was my middle school experience. It's awkward years. You're trying to figure it out. Everybody's trying to figure it out.
Right.
And your voice is changing, your body's changing, your mindset is changing, the whole 9 yards. I can't even imagine the COVID thing, because there are some essential life skills that you learn in middle school, even how to deal with the bullies, how to deal with the things, the fat kid, the bald kid, this kid, that kid, the outsider, so to speak. So how do you balance, COVID aside, how do you balance a kid with a disability, seen or unseen, and the fact that if you don't get this, if you don't deal with these things now, it's not just going to you 10th, 11th grade, and 12th grade, because the world is not going to wait for you to catch up, so to speak. So how do you draw that balance with these kids?
A lot of what I try to do with my students is really empower them, not just for the next grade, but for what they're going to do for the rest of their life. So and that can look like in a wide variety of different ways. Sometimes it might be cleaning out the backpack and looking for the lost paper. I always say that sometimes I can conjure up papers that the child swears is not in there, but it is. And it's teaching them the organizational skills, like when we go through the backpack check. So we'll put the papers in the correct folders and we'll label them. It's also showing study skills. Sometimes we might go over spelling words if they're having them in class. So other times it might just be sitting right beside a student so they pay attention. And sometimes that's what maybe a kid needs at that time, is just someone to get them on track and to say, all right, we're on page 12, and they'll look at you and go, I know. And we're like, okay. And then you just learn to be, okay, you're there to help out with that. Other times it can just really be talking through a lot of issues too with a lot of our students. Some of our children that come in come from a trauma background on top of having a disability, and they may not see a positive interaction with adults. So sometimes it might just be talking through with them and saying, what is going on? What is happening? And they might tell you some details of things that are happening at home. And it's just being that caring adult that they know that they can come to and be that safe place for them. I also really show my students how to advocate, because for so many of them, I think that's a skill they're going to have to take with them in their lives, especially if they have a disability that's not it's not temporary. It's going to be there for forever. I'm not going to be around. All my students one day will graduate and they'll leave me, and I hope every dream of theirs comes true. But they're going to need to know how to be able to speak up for themselves when they have it. And I'll have a scared kid that'll come in and they might be struggling with their work. And especially if it's math, I can't, as I said, I can't help them. And I'll go and I say, well, let's go ask your teacher for help. And they'll say, but I'm afraid. And I'll say, well, I'll go with you. And before you know it, I might go with them and they'll ask the teacher. I might help in the very beginning, but I'm just mainly there for moral support. But as the school year progresses, the greatest thing is whenever I have that student that was so afraid in the beginning of the year, by the time the mid or the end of the year comes, they're not needing me anymore. They're raising their hand. They're asking their teacher for help. And I think that that's just such a skill that they're going to need to know how to do.
So as for the parents, do you find that you have to educate the parent as well as the kid? I mean, because like Jack just said, sometimes people just, oh, he's being lazy, he's this, he's that, not applying himself. But you probably catch a few things, just like your teacher, your kindergarten teacher caught a few things. You probably catch a few things that teachers up into them coming to you haven't caught. So how does that go?
Right. In my role, we don't really have a lot of contact with parents with conveying that information. That generally goes to the learning support teacher. It can also go to our admin staff, but I can also report back to the teacher that's working with them. And I can say, I don't think that Johnny really got this information. I don't know if this is really working. And I mean, it's always the teacher's call on that, but they can contact the parents. They can take that information. They can use that into consideration. Sometimes we do data collection where we might count maybe how many times so-and-so got out of their seat, or how many times they did sit still. I mean, sometimes that can be a role that I might have as well. I don't have it so much in my current years, but that is definitely something that people can do as well. And being able to voice those concerns, if we have them in the appropriate fashion, I think is really key to do that. And I think we do a pretty good job with the support staff. I think we really try to work to educate a lot of that with the child too, and kind of going in, and maybe if the child doesn't have a lot of support at home, we definitely try to support them while they are at school as well.
Because as I look back over my life, and Jack,
Mm-hmm.
you probably go through this too, a lot of friends that I've had like from childhood, as we got older and started experiencing life more, and you get to a point where, well, one, a lot of times people cover up their disability or the fact that they don't know something with their attitude, with their behavior, as a distraction. That's the first thing. Secondly, I've seen like some guys who I've grown up with that it didn't really make sense to me until like, all this time I just thought he was a mama's boy, or I thought his mother was just overprotective, or his father was overprotective. I had no idea that he had this going on. And then sometimes they'll talk to you about it, and it's like, for me, it feels good because it's like, yeah, man, you always looked out for me. You always did that, which is a good thing, because I'd hate to be like, yeah, man, you used to bully me. You used to, I would hate to have to experience that. But it's you just don't know what people are, like you say, you just don't know what people are going through.
Right.
So we have to be more aware of that, for sure.
Right. A lot of times we don't know what someone's truly going through.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember somebody mentioning an invisible backpack that everybody carries. And that's something definitely with our kids. Sometimes we don't know what they're carrying from home. We don't know what they might be carrying, especially with adults. If you can't see a disability, you might have a coworker who you may not understand why they might struggle with certain things, or just maybe some of those challenges that we can't see. I know a lot of people look at me and think, well, why can't you do math? Why can't you learn how to do this? And I have to really speak up for myself, but that's invisible. So everybody has like this invisible backpack. We have no idea maybe what somebody else is going through.
That's definitely a good way to put it, a good point, because we say a lot of times you hear people say baggage. You got all that baggage you're carrying around, and it's the older you get, and especially if you were able to get through school and things like that, but it was a struggle. A lot of people just didn't know you had that struggle. They didn't know how hard you had to go. They think you had it easy. Like, none of this has been easy. You just don't know the battle I go through on a day in and day out basis, because I'm carrying around this invisible backpack, as you said. You just don't understand the struggle that I'm going through. And it's great if you have support. So I'm going to ask you that, because you said you was diagnosed early. So I'm going to take it that your parents supported you through all the stuff that you needed to get through.
Yeah.
But when you're that kid that don't have that support, where now the parents are not as accepting that their child is flawed in one way or another, and don't give them those extras that they need, or can't afford the extras that they need, that has to be difficult as well. So So is that what your mission is all about? I'm asking, is that something I can get if I was to come to Michelle's Mission and www.michellesmission.com? If I come there and I'm in that hole as a parent, would you help me, find a way out so I can help my kid? Is that something you
definitely, because I speak a lot about my parents who were supportive and never gave up on me. And yes, I can offer that perspective with that too.
Right. So all of you that's out there watching, and those who are going to watch this show later, and if you have a child, or if you are yourself dealing with a hidden disability, or even a disability that's out, you're not alone. You're not the only one. So definitely seek those people who can help you. Like I say, Michelle's Mission will be one. There's teachers, there's counselors, there's doctors, parents, grandparents, siblings, all of those. Once they understand, I truly believe everybody's willing to help another person out and get through like even Walt made the comment, that person, I could come to you because you wasn't that bully. You didn't judge me because of the things that I'm going through, because you can live a normal life. You can have all of the pluses and minuses. Like you say, Michelle said you can't drive, But that's just one minor, which is not really a bad thing all the time, because I wish there's times I didn't have to drive. So that's not really that bad. I know sometimes you look at it, but, oh, woe is me, this is what I can't do. But then you start looking at all the things you can do, and that's huge in itself.
A prime example, the things that she sees inspired her photography, you know, because she doesn't drive. Right.
Yeah.
So
so it's always it's a plus. So now help me understand. You got two cats. You got Jack and Sparrow. So and I think I got the movie right. So is that what triggered the movie, or did the movie trigger the movie? So how did that go?
Yes, when we adopted them, the family was huge Disney fans. And they named them Jack and Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean. We just thought it was so cute that we just kept it the same.
Okay. All right. There you go. All right. Yeah. So I was like, either you're a real strong movie fan, love that movie, or who's the actor who did that? Johnny Depp. I think it's Johnny Depp. Yeah. So for you to come up with those names,
no, but we liked it, and we thought, well, these poor cats are getting adopted, and we didn't want to have to put any more stress on them.
So now, how hard was it to write the book? What was that process for you? Great.
I had a long time ago, I wrote a children's story, and I never had much luck with fiction. That just was not something I really got published. And I put that on the shelf for a number of years. And I wrote a lot of nonfiction, writing about my life, writing about just the struggles with having a disability, and a lot of nature analogies. And I had the right opportunity that came about with a publisher that was accepting children's books. I already published with them another story a few weeks ago, and it just got published, and I knew that was definitely amazing. And I thought, well, I would like, they said they were publishing books, so I thought, well, I'll give that a try. And that is one of the ways that they did that. So I was really happy with that. So I really didn't have too much difficulty with that. Yep.
Okay. No, that's cool. It takes, without a doubt, I know it takes a lot to write a book. And to put it all together, and for someone to read and for it to be helpful or meaningful. And I believe that's what your book is about. So so I guess I'm asking on this question. So the support from your spouse, now, how supportive is your spouse with the teaching and all of that goes on to it? How's that work?
My husband is supportive with all that. He was from the very beginning. I can remember, I knew he was the right guy. I knew on our first date, I told him I have a learning disability and I can't drive, and some of the other issues I have. And he said, how does it make you feel? And nobody ever asked me that from that point. I've had guys that did reject me for having one. I can remember my ex breaking up with me saying, I think you could drive if you wanted to, and I'm tired of taking you places. But my husband has never been like that. He's very supportive of that. And we work through a lot of the issues together. It's not to say that there's not a learning curve with certain things, but we've been married for about 11 years.
Okay. Well, congratulations on that. And
salute to him.
And yes, that was the right question to ask, I guess. How does that
It's a wrap at that point. How does that make you feel?
Yeah.
Ding, 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 winner.
Because we do. We deal with things that, like I say, sometimes you just don't know. I mean, people don't know, and if they don't know, they just don't know. And if you're not one of those who wear a T-shirt saying I got a disability, they would never know. Some things we call disabilities, and some things I can deal with it. Like I shared a lot even on this show and even outside of this show, that I'm colorblind. So you can say that's not a disability. It is when you ask me what color that is, and I can't tell you. And you're looking at me like I'm crazy, because I'm like, I can't see it. I cannot see that color. Yes, I can tell. Well, how you know the street signs? How you know that? Because I went to kindergarten, and that's what they said. That's red, and that's green, and that's yellow. I understand those colors. But the thing is, if you put two colors closely together, and say, you know, go give me this aqua whatever, I don't see that. That's something.
Right.
So it's not that it's not there. It's the fact that you wouldn't know that that was red or blue if no one told you. That's how we all learned what the colors were. It's just when I look at it and see it, I cannot see it like you see it. But I've learned to deal with it. Go ahead.
Right. And when you say that too, I notice a lot of the street signs, they will have, if you press the button, they'll say the walk sign is off, or they'll tell you to wait. So that is also one of the ways that the Americans with Disabilities Act, you have that universal design that everybody can use it, including the people that can tell it's a red light, green light, or yellow light, or somebody that maybe can't see that. And that's one of those ways that they're able to know, they can hear when to cross the street.
Right. No, 100%. And you're right. So we have to make way for people who have, and like I say, you shouldn't have to wear a shirt or sign or something saying I have a disability. We had another guest on, a couple of months ago, and their big fight was like at the airport, the people that they didn't recognize the disabilities, because they couldn't see it. So they was, treating them different at airports and traveling and things like that. It's like I have and that was their mission, was to help, people with disabilities travel and be able to get from point A to point B without being, isolated and moved to the side and things. And again, your mission is just as important. And we appreciate, again, all the stuff that you're doing. So I'm going to say this, because we're running out of time. But thank you for being here. But I want to say, if you was to speak out right now to someone that maybe walked your path, or it might be close to your path or whatever, what would you tell them? I'm going to let you close us out. Tell us, what would you tell them, someone that was a younger version of you that was coming up, that was maybe didn't have the support that you had and all of that? What would you tell them?
The first thing I would tell them is that they can do it, and to know what they want to do in life, and to be able to find a way to do it. I'm living proof that it is possible. And success doesn't always come in the package that we expect. Sometimes it comes in something even better.
Okay. All right. Hey, I like that. 100%.
Absolutely.
So we thank everybody who tuned in today, and Michelle, we thank you for coming in and hanging out with us. I've had certain people put things in the comment, all kinds of some are goofy, some are not, but some say they had learning disabilities, and I know that's true, because it was for years it was like taboo. No one would speak about it. You didn't want to let no one know, and like I say, you was treated so different. You definitely, if there was a way not to let anybody know, you just wouldn't, because I didn't want to go to the special wing of the school. I didn't want to catch the special bus. I didn't want to have the extra teacher. I didn't want you to put a sign on the board with my stars and my strikes if I had a good day, bad day, because not every student. It's so many things that, even as teachers, we were doing to what teachers were doing to the student. That's like, why are you holding me or isolating me, or why are you putting me out on Front Street like this? And so that just made it harder. It really did make it harder. So, yeah. So again, I say thank you, because I know the challenge is real, and then now that we're diagnosing it more and more, and coming up with better ways of helping, like I say, even yourself, 15 years of doing this, being in a classroom as an assistant to the teacher, I'm sure any teacher that you're working with is super excited to have you come into class, because that takes a lot of weight off of them when they got 20, 25, 30 kids in the class, and at least I got some help. That helps a lot. So like I say, as long as they say don't help me in math, you're good to go. I'm good to go. So don't ask me to help you in math. I got you. But I want to thank you again for being a guest on the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. We thank everybody who came out to watch today. We'll definitely make sure we put the matter of fact, wait a minute, let me see if I can get it up there. We got time. Let me see, because I know I found it, because you sent it to me, and let's see, make sure I got the right one. There it is. Is that it? Yeah.
Yep, that is it.
The ladybug who couldn't count her spots by Michelle Steiner, right there. So if you're looking on, where are we going to find this book at, Michelle? On Amazon or?
I am looking into putting it on Amazon now. Yes, you can find it there, and you can also find it on Start to Write as well. That they'll have their official release.
All right. So Start to Write is the place we're going to find it, and hopefully we'll get it on Amazon and also.
Yes.
But The Ladybug Who Couldn't Count Her Spots by Michelle Steiner, and we thank you. We thank you for sharing that, and looking forward to. And this is the children's book, correct?
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay, all right. So that's going to be pretty cool. So if you're out there and you're watching, make sure you order this book now, or go out and try to find this book so we can, especially if you got little kids that's dealing with disabilities. And then you're a parent with a kid with disability, I'm sure that this will help you as well. So yeah, thank you. Yeah. All right, Michelle, we thank you. I'm gonna ask you to hang over if you don't mind. Hang over once we close this show out so we can talk to you backstage. For everybody else that's out there, remember we're real people with real conversations, real stories, one community. And if each one would reach one, we can all grow and glow. Until next time, talk to you later. Have a good night. Peace.